I don't think I am the only one who is looking at some of these concerns in these perspectives. I know there are people out there. I believe there are many, many, many people out there who are equally concerned about the Igbo condition, but who believe that there might be alternative pathways to restoring the dignity of the Igbo. Okay, whether in the context uh, of of a southeast in Nigeria and or Biafra independent country or any other composition, but there are folks who really want the condition of the Igbo to improve. One of the things that I've been thinking about lately is the miracle in Abia. I call it miracle because I don't know that a lot of people, like 10 years ago, there are a lot of people know that we will have Abia State look like what is looking today. Okay, and if you look at all the processes and everything that has happened, it goes to tell you that a lot of good things are possible. A lot of good things are possible. We still have great people. Moral of fact, we have more good and well-intentioned Igbos than the other side. The problem is that the other side gets the noise. What you reinforce gets consolidated. What you resist persists. So oftentimes, many Igbos approach the condition only from a problem-focused perspective. I'm inviting more and more young people, particularly young people, and people of all ages, to please consider taking a solution-focused approach to many of the issues that we are going through as Igbos. Because when you adopt a solution-focused approach, you begin to see beyond the errors and mistakes of your own brothers. It will minimize the enmity that we feel. It will minimize divisions. When you are solution-focused, you are data-driven. You are making decisions based on verifiable information, verifiable data. So you don't just say, oh, we are making progress. No, you are saying that on account of A, B, C, D, E, we can say that this is where we are when we started. This is where we are now. This is how far we are to the goal. Solution-focused Igbos are those who are interested in evaluating procedures, evaluating strategies, evaluating actions, choices, and forfeitures. Not so that they can blame and shame, but so that they can learn from the process and see what's working, what's not working, what can be changed, what can be thrown away. You don't just take a strategy because it works. A good strategy may have a poor outcome if it is ill-timed, badly implemented, or altogether confused. So a peg is good, but until you have a square peg in a square hole, or a round peg in a round hole, it won't fit. Solution-focused Igbos are the type of Igbos who are saying, okay, we took a decision, something. For example, we decided to boycott elections. What are the outcomes of that boycott? Did it succeed? If yes, how? In what areas? Did it fail? If yes, in what areas? You learn the lesson. You keep the data. You use the data to make decisions and to make informed future choices. Every choice has consequences. Because you know why? When you choose, you altogether forfeit. If you choose to travel on Monday, you forfeited traveling on Sunday. Please, solution focused Igbos, we need you to gather yourself together. I know we have problems. I know we have mistrust. We have what they call disunity. We have all kinds of things. But if we also have strength, we also have strength. People think that, and this is the thing, in behavior analysis, they talk about the importance of targeting behaviors that you want to increase. We're not stopping there. Also, identifying replacement behaviors. Okay? So, when you target a behavior for increase or you target a behavior for reduction, you don't just go one way. So, you identify the behavior you want to decrease, define the behavior so it's measurable. You make observations so you can observe, you can note some of the things that happen before that behavior occurs and what the behavior actually is. Not only that, but also what happens after the behavior occurs. Because usually it's what happens after an event that can tell you exactly whether that event or that behavior is likely to recur in the future. You see what I'm telling you now? That's like collecting ABC data on choices, actions, decisions you have taken. I don't have a problem with decisions you take. Whether it's sit at home, whether it is election boycott, whether it is whatever thing you decide. All I'm saying, I'm not here to tell anybody what to do. All I'm just saying is imbibe a culture, a mindset of evaluation. Be scientific. Measure the outcomes. This thing that we did, what happened after we did it? When you do all these kinds of things, you can get into what's called component analysis. So you can now analyze in detail with some specificity which aspects of that decision work the most, fail the most. So you can re-engineer, you can recalibrate, restructure your plans. The goal remains the same, but the plan can change. The problem is, problem-focused people very easily get married to the strategies that they have identified. Okay, they've figured out this is how we'll solve the problem. They get emotionally attached to the strategy. No, no, no. Your plan can change. Your goal remains the same. Be comfortable with changing the plan. Don't feel bad. If you need to stop. If you need to pause, if you need to even make a U-turn and restart. But your goal remains the same. So when you pick up a plan, yes, it's a hypothesis. You're saying on the balance of what we know, on the probabilities present, if we take this action, it will lead us here. Now you take the action. You get to pay attention whether the action actually took you to where you're going or to, in the direction that you're going. If it is not, oh, what's going on? Pause. Don't just keep going. This is how we've done it. This is how our forefathers did it. No, context changes. Times change. Variables change. Even you yourself, you change. Haven't you noticed that sometimes you have views and opinions that change over time and you're like, oh, did I even say this in the past? That's growth and development. We are human beings, change. We evolve. So you're going to change your strategies and but retain your goal, change your plans, improve on them, learn more. That's part of what's called learn more about, man, know thyself. Part of it is self-knowledge, self-awareness, know your choices, know the things, know the algorithms that shape your choices, the influences, because somebody may just be using remote control to sort of push around your algorithms, to push your patterns. And so, if I set the pattern, okay, it's okay. I know where you end up. So they already know that. Okay. So when you are solution focused. You are not just interested in reaction. You are proactive. That means before even something happens, you have an emergency plan for it. Don't just say, "Oh no, they can't do it. They're afraid of us." They don't. No, no, no. Nobody's. You see, if they're afraid of you, you would have been free. If you're smarter than them, you would have been free. Be a fool and get what you want. My elder brother, very smart man, he used to say, "Be a fool, but get what you want." And this is something that we Igbos, in our resilience in an industry, we demonstrate that. People are willing to, be dirty, do whatever level of work they can do, whether it's cleaning, wash, whatever you can do to put food on the table. If you can do that, also apply it in the psychology and the politics of things. Okay? Because if you understand the cultural context in which we exist, you would know that Nigeria is a little bit unique in its composition. And so yes, people say one thing and do the other. They preach wine or they preach water but drink wine. Okay, for the most part. Okay, so people will preach about holiness and how to, even say if somebody should be put to jail for, for armed robbery, but they pay for exam malpractice. People may condemn a doctor that, somebody who faked medical license or faked, professional license, one thing or the other, something like that. But they are happy to bribe invigilators. So let's stop pretending and confusing ourselves. Let's just accept that we want change, we want to improve, we want to make a difference, we want to be a solution for it. So the reason I'm saying this is the problem of problem-focused people, or Nigerians, Igbos, in particular, are that they keep pointing fingers. Anytime you find yourself blaming someone else for an experience you're going through, please, more than you have done in the past, do self-evaluation. Do self-evaluation. When you do that self-evaluation, you're finding out where you will find at some point where you gave permission for the people, for the person, to actions, inactions, or But sometimes, yeah, even if it is just like people hate you, enemy, they are more powerful, they are in the alliance, in fact, if it's possible, quit. Just know that you have an enemy, know who your enemy is, but don't focus on that enemy. Focus on building internal strength first. Okay? And then, let me tell you, solution-focused Igbos are the type of Igbos who use serpentine intelligence. Serpentine intelligence, snake wisdom. Snake wisdom. What do I mean by snake wisdom? It is in the scriptures. It is in the scriptures. If you are a sheep surrounded by wolves, what did the Bible recommend? For a sheep surrounded by wolves, you believe that the people around you are envious of you. People around you are not happy with you. People around you are, they want to stop you. They want to minimize you or exclude you. Oh. The wisdom that you need is not that of lion. It's not the bravery of the lion. Especially if you think of the numerical balance, whether, they are more, those who are against you are more, or those who are in support of you are more. So in the context of Nigeria, let's say you think that, let's say, okay, agreed, Igbos let's say you're hated or people want to stop you. What do? He didn't say be as wise as a lion. He said be as wise as a serpent. I don't know. Igbos don't like serpent. We are so afraid of the snake. If Igbos want to survive in Nigeria, snake, agwo, isi agwo. In fact, I recommend isi agwo. In fact, somebody should produce clothing with agwo, with isi agwo. Happens isi agwo for now, because isi agwo is for defense. Protect your home with your isi agwo. When you leave home and go outside, in that space where you are interfacing with sister ethnic groups or sister tribes, my dear, not in a bad way, because the recommendation in the Bible is be as wise as a snake, but as gentle as a dove. So you mix those two components. None of them is about lion. But in the Igbo, the two married to the bravery of the lion. Wisdom is when you look at your circumstance. That's, emotional intelligence. You look at your circumstance and adopt skills that will help you survive. The problem, the goal is, did you get what you want? Whether it's by shouting, whether it's by fighting, whether it's by crying, whether it's by begging, whether it's by kneeling, whether it's by flying, boasting, barking, by hissing or by roaring. Did you get what you set out to get? A lone lion, a lion that is by itself, that is up against an alliance of equally strong animals, other big animals who have come together to target the lion as let's say enemy. My dear, that lion is in trouble. It doesn't need to roar. It's a lone lion. They are already, at the beginning, they were afraid of the lion because the lion roars in his majesty, and all of the animals, even as alliance, they will shake. But this alliance of big and equally strong animals now found out that there is a third friend, international ally, who now sort of helps them see things from the outside and see the overall picture and tell them, this lion that you are afraid of will have pulled the tooth out. It has no teeth. He said he has no teeth. So he roars, but it doesn't bite. It doesn't fight. The things that makes the lion a lion are not there. So this alliance of animals will begin to sort of elbow the lion. They elbow you, the lion roar and do nothing. They elbow you, roar and do nothing. They elbow and slap, the lion does nothing. Does nothing but shrink back. The lion did not even consider that if it fights at home, his house will be more vulnerable. If anything is destroyed, it will be his own. But if he manages to pretend like a snake and then get into the house of each of these animals, go to them one by one, not as a group, maybe he will live longer. I don't know what you make of this story. I don't believe in attacking or hitting on enemies, but I believe in competence. I believe in building up my success so that I don't have control over what people will say or do or think about me, about my choices, or about whatever they know about me. I don't have control. You don't have control over whether people will praise you, like you, hate you. No, you don't have control. So why are you trying to play God now? If you don't have control over something, you can't control something, and then you're losing sleep over what you can control, it's outside your domain. Just be a human being. Be a human being. Leave that part. It's not for you. Hapụrụ Chukwu nke ya. Because of Chukwu, ihe ga ha control is outside your control. But if you get control, your choices, your forfeitures. But all I'm saying is when you're making a choice and forfeiture, use data. Data from history. There's data. History has data. The things that have happened before. For example, if you want to go and do protests in Nigeria, define your goal. You define your goal. Define who you are protesting against, so it will be clear, so you don't be confused. Define what you want to achieve with that protest. Which location? What time? When will it be hit? How will it affect me? Will it have counterproductive effect in the long run? Will I start losing supporters over time? Or will I gain more supporters? Evaluation. Evaluate your forfeitures. Evaluate your choices. And when you make them, please, don't be afraid to change your plans. Hey, learn something from these politicians. I'm not saying that it's the best, but that's survival for them. The politician is moving from party to party based on their calculation of survival. So don't be afraid to change, because you're in a country that is like that. My suggestion may be different if you're in a place like America. If Igbo land was to be in the system, Nigeria was to be practicing an American system, some of my suggestions would be different. But we are not. And again, let me tell you, if you are problem focused, your perception of those who don't like you, or the rivals or enemies as they call it, will be different.